What is up everybody, my name is BobaTalks and today's video is going to be a Flash Season 3 Episode 18 trailer breakdown. Now this trailer was absolutely kick-ass, I really can't wait to go into it. So before I start this video guys, go ahead and leave a like on it if you do end up enjoying this video, and let's get straight into breaking down the trailer. So before I actually talk about the trailer guys, I will show the trailer right now.
Stop!
He calls himself Abra Kadabra.
You and I have been enemies for years.
He said he was from the future.
He is 64th century.
Care to lend me a hand?
He has information that will save Iris's life.
I know who Savitar really is.
You shall not pass!
So this trailer was absolutely kick-ass. It's probably the best promo trailer I've seen for the Flash Season 3 so far for this whole season. So before I actually go on and talk about what we see in the trailer, I'm going to read out the episode synopsis to give a bit more clarification on the trailer. The Flash battles Abra Kadabra, a villain from Earth 19, who makes him a tempting offer. Release him and Abra Kadabra will reveal Savitar's true identity. Desperate to save Iris, Barry considers taking the deal, but Gypsy breaches in to capture the villain for her own reasons, and during the melee, Abra Kadabra manages to escape. Barry is furious that Gypsy interfered, but Gypsy refuses to back down, forcing Cisco to take sides. Meanwhile, Julian is still a bit cold towards Caitlyn, but when she is severely injured in a battle with Gypsy, he rushes to her side. So that was quite a lengthy synopsis. I mean, I swear the synopsis for each episode grows more and more and gives more and more from each episode each time. But in this episode, guys, Abra Kadabra is coming, and he is a villain from the 64th century, which we actually heard in the trailer from Gypsy herself. Now, he isn't actually going to be a sorceress or use magic in the Flash TV show. He's actually going to use technology so advanced that it appears to magic for people like us in the 21st century. But really, you know, because he's from the 64th century, it really does seem like so advanced technology that is practically magic. Another really cool thing to note, guys, the guy who is playing Abra Kadabra is David Dastmalchian. I'm sorry if I butchered his second name, but I've mentioned and talked about him a lot in my previous Gotham videos. If you watch Gotham as well, you would know that he played Jerome's cult leader or cult follower named Dwight, but he's also been in, you know, Ant-Man and The Dark Knight and many other comic book films. So he's a really cool dude, and I really can't wait to see him in this episode. But the most interesting thing to take away from this synopsis and this trailer is basically that he teases that he knows Savitar's identity. Now that must be absolutely, you know, so hard for Barry to, you know, get a grip on, because there's this guy who's a villain who actually says him and Barry have been enemies for years. Probably because, you know, he's come from the 64th century and come back, and, you know, Barry is a speedster, so probably in other adventures in the future, he has actually traveled to the future. But you get what I'm trying to say. And he actually knows who Savitar is. So trying to wrap your head around one of your villains, you know, knowing who Savitar is. But it really is a dilemma in this episode for Barry, because, you know, Abra Kadabra will reveal Savitar's true identity if he is allowed to escape. But if he does that, then, you know, Barry's let a villain go. But is it worth it? That's what I'm really excited about. That's one really cool thing Barry's going to have to do in this episode, is that he's going to have to figure out how can he still be a hero if he lets a villain escape? Or will he risk not finding out who Savitar is and keep him locked up? So in the synopsis, it did say that Caitlyn gets injured in a battle with Gypsy, and Julie, you know, rushes to her side. So we get a bit more of the Julian romance with Caitlyn, I'm sure, to come in this episode. And you can see this in this image here. Now, I'm fairly certain the way that Caitlyn gets injured is through a bomb that Abra Kadabra uses in Star Labs. So Star Labs is probably going to get a bit of damage, and, you know, that's how she's going to get injured with Julian rushing to her side. But, you know, it still remains to be seen. And at the same time, I'm sure many people are going to probably think, you know, what the hell, Gypsy, why are you doing this? But I'm sure Gypsy has very good reasons. I mean, it is her job to capture people like this. So, you know, somebody as powerful as Abra Kadabra with this technology kind of has to be apprehended. And, you know, I see why she's standing her ground, but that's going to be a real big problem for Team Flash, considering, you know, they need and want to know who Savitar's identity is. But as the synopsis mentions as well, this is going to cause big problems for Cisco, because he really likes Gypsy. So he's going to have to choose sides, but I think he will, you know, most likely side with Team Flash, and he may have a bit of conflict in the episode, however. Now in this trailer we get several examples of his powers, which are really cool. He seems to be fluttering out quite a few cards here, which is probably really going to distract Barry. And then we see that he's using this kind of technological device which locks these 2 security officers in that box. But as serious as this episode I'm sure will be, considering it surrounds the nature of finding out Savitar's true identity, it also looks pretty fun, considering, you know, we get a little bit of humor in this trailer with Cisco holding out that guy's hand. I mean, I don't know, that does look pretty real to me, so I don't know what is going to happen there. But we also get a bit of a Gandalf quote from Cisco, with him and Gypsy, you know, sort of defending against what I'm sure is to be another technological device from Abra Kadabra, and he says, you know, you shall not pass. So the humor in the episode is probably going to be on point with Cisco, as always. But also with this scene as well, it just looks freaking awesome. You know, 2 vibes, basically, Gypsy and Cisco using their vibe powers to stop whatever this thing is that is coming towards them. But also considering Wally seems to be chasing after this thing as well, and then perhaps Barry as well a little bit later on, it seems to be that this thing will probably cause massive damage if it is allowed to do whatever it is trying to do. But apart from that, guys, that's practically everything that we learned from this trailer. As a result of, you know, this episode, I'm pretty sure that we're not going to find out anything to do with Savitar's identity. I do believe that the cast did say in a couple of interviews not so long ago that, you know, we really are not going to get any hints as to who Savitar really is. They did say that characters will learn one by one who Savitar is, but as for the audience, they're not really going to find out until we find out. So that's going to be really interesting. So I think that Barry, as much as, you know, they'll want to find out Savitar's identity, they won't, you know, let Abra Kadabra blackmail them into letting him escape. Perhaps it will be through Iris and the team saying, you know, we can't do this to ourselves and our morals. You know, we need to be Team Flash and keep the villains in check, and, you know, not sacrifice our values just to find out who Savitar is. Or it could just be a case that, you know, Abra Kadabra actually has no idea who Savitar is, but I'm sure he does. But I think it's going to be more of a thing that he just won't tell them. But either way, I don't think we're going to find out, guys. But I'd love to know if you think we're going to find out who Savitar's identity is. As I just said, I really don't think we're going to find out in this episode. But I'd love to know your thoughts as to when, you know, we're going to get some major hints anyway. But that is all from me in today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like on it to show your support. Let me know if you've got any video suggestions on what to make, whether it surrounds any of these DC TV shows or any Flash ideas. I'd love to hear them in the comments below. And if you want to stay more up to date with every video that I bring out, guys, be sure to hit that bell button next to the subscribe button and tick the box to basically find out every time I upload a video just like this. And let me know what you thought of this trailer. I thought it was, you know, honestly really cool, and I can't wait for this episode. It's going to be really awesome. But as always, everybody, I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.